Welcome to day 9 of Mellowdy. Today we start knitting at row 145, and in this video I added all the stitch combinations that are necessary to knit today's pattern. The transition from main color to contrast color, going right for the first row, will be worked like this. Once you have 3 stitches in the main color on your needle with the contrast color underneath, you knit 2 stitches together. You are going to make a jogless stripe by pulling up the contrast color stitch and pulling it up on the needle and knit it together with your last main color stitch. Now you are going to grab your contrast color yarn, knit one, make one by picking up the strand in between the stitches and knit it twisted. In English it looks like this. When you have 3 stitches on your needle in the main color but with the contrast color in the row below, you knit 2 together. You make a jogless stripe by picking up the contrast color strand from the stitch below and knit it together with the stitch on your needle. Now you pick up your contrast color yarn from underneath. You knit 1 stitch and you make 1 stitch by pulling up the strand in between the stitches on your needle. Pull it up on your needle and knit it twisted. The stitch combination yarn over, central double decrease, yarn over. And in between the yarn overs and the central double decreases can be 1 or more knit stitches. But for this video I'm just going to explain this stitch combination, and then you will have to see if there are knit stitches there as well. So first of all, you are going to scoop up your working yarn. Now you are going to slip the next 2 stitches together as if to knit. You knit 1 and you pass the 2 slipped stitches over your knitted stitch. And then you scoop your working yarn again. In English it looks like this. You are going to bring your working yarn in between your needles and up and over. Then you are going to slip the next 2 stitches as if to knit. You knit the next stitch. You pass the 2 slipped stitches over your knitted stitch and off your needle. And you do a yarn over again by bringing the yarn in between your needle and up and over. The transition from main color to contrast color for the following rows. When you have 3 main color stitches left on your left hand needle, you knit 2 together to decrease 1 stitch. Then you knit 1. You grab your contrast color yarn from underneath. You knit 1, and now you are going to do the Elizabeth Zimmerman increase. You look at the stitch on your needle, pick up the stitch below that, pull it up on your needle and knit it. You are ready to proceed with the rest of your row. And English style knitted, it looks like this. When you have 3 stitches left on your needle in the main color, you are going to knit 2 together, knit 1, You grab your contrast color yarn from underneath, knit one, and then you make an Elizabeth Zimmerman increase by pulling up the stitch under the stitch on your needle. Pull it up and knit it. The stitch combination yarn over, knit two together. First, you scoop up your working yarn by going from the back and underneath, and you scoop it onto your needle. And then you are going to knit the next two stitches as if they were one. I will show that once more. So you scoop up your working yarn from back, underneath to the front, and then you knit the next two stitches as if they were one. In English, it looks like this. So you bring your working yarn in between the needles, up and over your needle, and the next two stitches you treat as one and you knit them together. I will show that once more. So you bring your working yarn in between your needles to the front and over your right hand needle again, and you knit the next two stitches as one. The stitch combination SSK yarn over. You go in the first stitch on your needle as if to knit, slip it off and put it on backwards. Now you are going to knit two together through the back loop, and you make a yarn over by scooping up your working yarn from back through the middle to the front, so your yarn is over your right hand needle. In English style it looks like this. You are going to slip off the first stitch as if to knit, put it back on the needle backwards and knit it together with the next stitch through the back loop. Then you do a yarn over by bringing your working yarn from the back through the middle and over your right hand needle. The stitch combination yarn over, knit two together. First, you scoop up your working yarn by going from the back and underneath, and you scoop it onto your needle. And then you are going to knit the next two stitches as if they were one. I will show that once more. So you scoop up your working yarn from back, underneath to the front, and then you knit the next two stitches as if they were one. In English it looks like this. So you bring your working yarn in between the needles, up and over your needle, and the next two stitches you treat as one and you knit them together. I will show that once more. So you bring your working yarn in between your needles to the front and over your right hand needle again, and you knit the next two stitches as one. The stitch combination knit two together yarn over. You are going to treat the next two stitches as if they were one and knit them together. And then you are going to scoop up your working yarn. So you decreased one stitch by knitting two together, and you increased one stitch again by your yarn over, so you still have the same amount of stitches. One more time, you are going to knit two together by treating the next two stitches as one, and then you scoop up your working yarn to make up for the decrease you just did. In English, it looks like this. You are going to knit the 2 stitches on the needle together as if they were one, and then you are going to bring your working yarn in between your needles up and over to the back so that you can work it again. One more time, the next 2 stitches you treat as one, and then you bring your working yarn in between and up and over your needle. And this is the end result for day 9. We have these 3 beautiful lace details, and we are going to the right again, so there's just a tiny bit of stockinette today. And if you would want to, don't forget to weave in your lifeline, and I will be back with a new pattern tomorrow.